Hi, so what we're going to look at today is the worked example effect. And I find that this is a really useful thing that I use in my lessons all the time. I'm sure lots of you do in terms of how we do it. Now, the worked example effect is a really easy way that we can improve students' outcomes. And all it is that we give them either a completed or a partially completed problem that the students can refer back to whilst working on a very similar one. And that's the important point, is that actually we give them something that's very similar to one that they need to do. Now, the reason that this is really effective is that it's been done in lots of different controlled studies, and it's been shown to boost students' understanding much better than problem solving or giving unstructured problems. Actually, the worked example is there to boost students' understanding. And it allows students to concentrate on really specific steps, especially in terms of reducing their cognitive load, so that therefore they can really focus in on the what thing that you're after rather than being distracted by all the other things that are around it. So what I thought I'd do is show you kind of how I set mine out. And I set mine out in this way, in a really easy slide for them to be able to understand. And I set up, first of all, a problem task or some sort of thing that I'm trying to do. So that could be a introduction to an essay. It could be, in my case with maths, doing a specific type of question. It could be anything you like. And then what I'm going to do is then show them all the different steps that I go through to be able to understand, do that problem. And I would personally, I do it by just going through step by step exactly what I do. Now, sometimes I might use this in the silent teacher method, where I literally just do it without any talking, or sometimes I do it through talking through a little bit of my thinking. Mostly I would stop there, and once I've done the problem, and then go back through and recap it by looking at the steps that I've gone through. So highlighting the steps that I've gone through. So this is what I did for step 1, this is what I did step 2, this is why I did step 3, this is why I did step 4. And then I give them a task that's very similar on the your turn problem. Now, just as a quick hint, I always do the your turn bit without showing them the problem first. So I don't have the problem up on the your turn until after I've been through the worked example, just because otherwise some of them try and jump ahead and try and do that without looking at the worked example, and then you lose the kind of the best effect of it. So here's one that I did earlier. So here's two worked examples that I did when I've done rationalizing the denominator. Now, it doesn't really matter what I've done. I still use it in lots of different ways. And so what I did in this lesson is I then worked through those two different problems, and I went back through and I annotated exactly what I did. And then I gave them a your turn problems after that. So for that way, they can look back at the worked example and utilize it to be able to do the your turn. And if you notice, the two problems are very, very similar. So they've both got a root 5, for example, at the bottom. They've both got very similar sorts of numbers. So therefore, I'm taking away the cognitive overload with it, but actually then focusing in on what's the important bit of the worked example problem. So therefore, they can follow the structure of the worked example and then do the your turn bit. And that's really useful then on the your turn to be able to get some formative assessment in and get them to share what they've done. But it just means that they can link together the two things. Also, in terms of interleaving, they can then go back and look at the worked example to be able to then help themselves with an interleaving problem. There we go.